Welcome back to the news at 10. Now, Governor Ebukunle Amosun today ended a two-day campaign tour of Ipokia local government area of Ogun State with a promise to complete the ongoing infrastructure project and open up the area to international investors in tourism, agriculture, and development. But before we go to that story, we'd just like to remind you of our main news stories. And violence-marred planned APC rally in Okrika, River State. Police Commissioner warns politicians against breaking the law. Politicians and participants at a forum in Abuja cautioned against rising cases of violence ahead of next year's elections. Federal government set to release a timetable for the payment of severance benefits to former staff of PHCN. And scores die in rocket attack in Ukraine. Now, all our top stories can be found on our website, channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. Please visit m.channelstv.com to see us live on your mobile device. You can also download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. We'd also like to urge you to please interact with the Channels Eyewitness feature on our Android, iOS, and Windows 8 platforms. If you have pictures or videos to share with us, tap the app on your device, swipe to reveal the Eyewitness menu, and follow the instructions. Now to Ogun State, where the Governor, Ebukunle Amosun, today ended a two-day campaign tour of Ipokia local government area with a promise to complete the ongoing infrastructure project and open up the area to international investors in tourism, agriculture, and commerce. The governor led the campaign train from Adeda local government area to Ipokia to seek the votes of the people for return to office as governor for the second term.
The campaign train entered Ipokia local government area through one of the roads currently being constructed by the Ebukunle Amosun administration. Accessing the far-flung wards in the local government is challenging because of the terrain, but the team kept going. Soon, the train arrives and is welcomed by a cheering crowd at Ifoyintedo. Everyone wanted to catch a glimpse. At other wards like Ilashe, Ajegunle, Idiroko, Agoshasha, and Bode Afe-Idofin, the electorates are full of admiration for the APC candidates.
Àwọn owó tí wọ́n ń yá wa wípé ká fi ṣòwò kì í ṣe pé à ń san interest ńbẹ̀. À ń lo owó yẹn, wọ́n ṣe ní ká lò ó, àwa náà dẹ̀ ń rèrè lórí ẹ̀. A má dìbò fún wọn, àwọn la gbọ́dọ̀ dìbò fún ní second time.
The youth in the community, however, hope to find jobs in their local government area without having to run to the cities.
The governor have really performed very well in the area of infrastructure development. But I, as a teacher, I would like to challenge him in the sense that in our schools today, we need more teachers.
I would like to be a teacher, as well I have some siblings that are in medical line, like environmental health, that they are still looking for a job. So we appeal to the governor to look down on the youths.
For Senator Ebukunle Amosun, tourism, commerce, and agriculture are such potentials yet to be tapped in the area.
For one, we are going to have a dry port here. It's like a container terminus here. We are having that. And beside that, we want to look at the tourism potential of this place, as well as the Tongeji Island that we've all been talking about since. We have oil in life deposit, but for me, everybody's moving away from oil. We should develop our agricultural base. Even when you look at this Ipokia, it has that potential.
The two-day tour of Ipokia local government area gave the electorates a sense of belonging, and they believe that casting their votes for the All Progressives Congress candidates stands them a greater chance of seeing the Ipokia of their dreams. Henry Ogunjimi, Channels Television News.
The People's Democratic Party presidential campaign group today stormed Maiduguri, where the president gave the assurance that the terror group Boko Haram will be defeated. Addressing party supporters, President Goodluck Jonathan said he regretted the persistent reign of terror on the peace-loving people of Borno State by the sect, saying his administration will surely overcome the challenge. On the Chibok girls, the president also promised that his administration is working towards the release of the innocent girls after being in the hands of the terror group for months.
We must surely conquer Boko Haram. We must surely return Borno State to what we know as a peaceful state, the state of peace. We must do everything to make sure that all even kidnapped, including the Chibok girls, get back home. We are improving. Most of you can attest to that in our advances. We will surely conquer Boko Haram. The Borno people are not people who hate others. They are not people who kill others. They are people who convert others to be a part of them. And that is what we know them for. The Boko Haram cannot change that. The kind of alien lectures they are taking from outside this country cannot survive, cannot endure. Definitely is not sustainable.
Goodluck Jonathan, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party. Meanwhile, a group of young professionals have been rallying support for the re-election of President Goodluck Jonathan in Abuja. According to the group, President Jonathan's strides in youth development as well as women empowerment is the driving force behind their move to mobilize support for the president's re-election next month. During a roadshow in Abuja, the members distributed handbills to residents and asked for their votes in next month's general elections.
Dozens of youths, including students and professionals from all walks of life, marched through the streets of Abuja to solicit support for the re-election of President Goodluck Jonathan in February. According to them, the Jonathan's administration has given priority to youth development than any previous government and therefore needs a second term.
We've never seen anyone who has so much love for the youth. And this is look at the cabinet of the president. You have a lot of youths there. You know, there's hope for the youths. You're not the one that we are bringing in some very, we are here to secure, old people. We are securing Nigeria's future, and that's what the youth have to do. Yeah. We have to secure Nigeria's future, and we have to secure Nigeria's future by voting for the president. With your term.
For other members of the group, the march is also to encourage youths to participate and vote peacefully during the polls.
We are here to sensitize the youth. We need to let them know, give them the orientation, redirect their mindset towards the fact that, people feel that this election is going to be violent, but we are here to tell them that that's not how it's going to be. So we are saying that there should be peace, because if you go to social medias, you see different talks, different people saying lots of things that are not even supposed to be.
On whether the security challenges and the way it's being handled pose any threat to the re-election of Mr. President, the group says the use of maximum force cannot be a solution to the problem.
Mr. President believes in dialogue because he feels that the major thing that makes individual there are factors, social factors, environmental factors that make individuals to actually go into violence. Are we talking about the violence in the north? We are young men, young people, we are children, we are brainwashed, and they never knew the importance of education. Mr. President came and he felt that no, I cannot do that when I'm eating with my wife and children, and I see other children suffering, walking on the street. with empty stomach, he cannot. He's a passionate somebody. And that is why he decided to now introduce the Almajiri system, where he has built over 125 Almajiri schools.
With the date for the elections getting closer, several activities like these are expected across the country to gather support for the president.
With weeks to the 2015 general election, several campaign posters of various political parties have surfaced, dotting the various highways, streets and billboards in Lagos. However, in the past days, the Lagos State Signage and Advertising Agency has come under strong criticism for alleged partiality in its bid to rid the environment of indiscriminate pasting of posters. In this special report, our correspondent, Kelvin Obetane, examines the issues involved.
Street lamp poles and electrical installations are some of the public facilities being used by political parties and politicians to display posters and other campaign materials in order to get the attention of residents and win their votes. In Lagos, contentions often arise among political parties and government agencies on where they should and should not display their posters. Recently, at a press conference, the State Commissioner of Police warned officials of the Lagos State Signage and Advertisement Agency, LASA, on the removal of campaign posters. The police says it has received complaints alleging that the agency is partial.
I note with concern series of complaints that have been made against the Lagos State Signage and Advertisement Agency, LASA, by candidates of various political parties about the removal of their campaign billboards and posters, purportedly by personnel of the agency. I have directed all their commanders and divisional police officers in the command to be on the lookout and arrest anybody that attempts to remove any billboard or poster of any candidate of the various political parties under whatever guise.
Of APC as a party in Lagos.
The Lagos State PDP chairman claims the removal of campaign posters affects his party the most.
If they go all out to start destroying posters of Mr. President, of our governorship candidate and other candidates in PDP, it may result to violation of laws. It may result to confrontation.
But the managing director of LASA refutes the allegations. He says the removal of unauthorized campaign materials has been based on what the law stipulates.
The law is the law. Do not paste posters on highway. You are allowed to paste posters during electioneering in inner streets. So what is so difficult or so confusing about that? There is no one who can accuse LASA of being partial in the way it's been doing its job. When our enforcement team goes out to remove posters illegally pasted, they do so without any fear or favor.
Besides, there are other issues which the agency says are misconstrued.
I've heard so many things about, the PDP are deploying materials on street lamp poles because they are federal roads.
I know what we did to be able to place posters on the Third Mainland Bridge. They should go and find out. That's a federal road. And we took permission from a particular body before we did. It doesn't have to be LASA.
They are federal roads. But in Lagos, most of the federal roads, Lagos State installed majority of the street lamp poles we have in Lagos State. But the issue is you have to follow the procedure. And I must say this, I'm not aware that the PDP have applied to use a single street lamp pole in Lagos State for electioneering.
Do the people who place Ambodi's posters, did they take permission?
It's been a peaceful electioneering process in Lagos State so far, despite the controversy on the removal of campaign posters. Hopefully, contending parties and agencies will sustain the status quo and carry out their functions in a way that will not overheat the polity. Kelvin Obetane, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the Director General of the National Task Force on Illegal Arms Importation of Small Arms and Light Weapons, Osita Okereke, has raised an alarm over the alleged stockpiling of arms and ammunition by desperate politicians ahead of the general elections. Mr. Okereke told journalists in Owerri, the Imo State capital, that a large catchment of arms has been illegally imported into the country by politicians seeking re-election in office in order to cause mayhem during the elections. He said the development portends a great danger to the nation's democracy and urged all security operatives to join hands in mopping up such arms across the country.
Have exchanged hands. I'm calling all the good Nigerians and all the security agencies to join hands together to fight how to retrieve all these arms. So I think it is a job and it's a duty to all the security agencies to join hands together. National Task Force is on course. We have the information, but we are calling the police to join us. We are calling the army to join. That we can help this nation to recover all these arms, because enough is enough. I haven't seen people that are prepared to kill their brothers. It's not done anywhere in the world, and we have to fight against it. If we don't fight against it today, I don't know what is going to happen.
The Implementation Committee of the Payment of Power Holding Company Terminal Benefits says that it is set to release a timetable for the payment of severance benefits to the former staff of the electricity company nationwide. This was made known in Abuja by the Chief of Staff to the Minister of Power, Professor Chidi Onya, who said that so far the sum of 372 billion naira has been paid to the disengaged staff members. He also refuted claims by some of the former workers that government has remained insensitive to their plight. Some of the affected staff members last week in Abuja protested at the PHCN office, alleging refusal by the authorities to pay their entitlements.
Former staff of the Power Holding Company of Nigeria chanting solidarity songs on the streets of Abuja to demand payment of their terminal benefits. They're here to ask government to pay up their benefits.
This is the 4th month they have not been paid. The people that they were sent out of their services for the past 1 year, they have not been paid their entitlement. And the ministry is only interested in occupying this building. Then it's not going to happen.
But representatives of the Ministry of Power say 1,669 people have been cleared for the next phase of payment. They say over 372 billion naira has been paid to other disengaged staff of the PHCN.
We will do everything possible to ensure that the last person that's been validated is paid. Bear in mind that this is not the first privatization that's gone on in this country. The government has already paid 372 billion approximate in this whole process. That's a lot of money, and that shows also the thinking behind this administration and the minister to ensure that people are actually paid for the work and the experience, knowing that they have all contributed to the success that we are going to build on in this privatization process.
Many hope that this last batch of 1,669 disengaged staff of the Power Holding Company will be paid before the end of February, as promised by government officials, in the interest of peace and national development.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria retains position as most watched investment destination market amongst world frontier markets. That's on Business News. Please stay with us.